Start with congratulating Kevin Crowley, well-deserved, my friend, 40 years of tremendous work in Central Iowa, so congratulations. I'm going to, I'll talk briefly, try to make up a little bit of time here, but kind of give you a little overview of what we're seeing right now in terms of the impact in the commercial construction world, and then maybe a couple thoughts in terms of the longer-term view. You know, I think probably the biggest impact that we're seeing currently, you know, and we're one of the few businesses that are really not been impacted a whole lot yet. All of our construction projects here in the metro area are still open, still building. But probably the biggest adjustment we've had to make is, while safety has always been a major focus area on our projects, the health of the construction worker is now becoming every bit as important as the safety of the construction worker on site. So we've had to implement a number of different things on sites here, as many other contractors have as well, to follow the CDC guidelines. And so, you know, we've increased the frequency by which we're cleaning certain things on sites. So those common areas that seem to get a lot of traffic, increasing the frequency of cleaning and disinfecting those areas, increasing the frequency by which portable toilets get cleaned on projects. You know, it used to be once a week, and now we're doing it almost every other day. Tools and equipment on site, how you keep those clean, especially those tools that multiple people are using. You know, one thing we've not had to really focus on in the past is providing hand washing and hand sanitizing stations. So our teams have gotten really creative in terms of how you provide that in a temporary basis to again, support the CDC guidelines. We are asking all workers who show up to our sites to fill out a questionnaire twice a week, basically answering 3 basic questions. Again, just to give the confidence of everybody on those sites that we've got people working there that are healthy. You know, we're trying to maintain good social distancing, which is can be quite challenging on a construction site when many activities require, you know, one-on-one, small crew, large crew situations. So we've asked our crews if they can't maintain that 6-foot separation, that they wear some sort of face covering to protect themselves and the people they're working with. You know, meetings, we are an industry that conducts lots of meetings on project sites. So we've had to go to virtual meetings or move meetings outside and have more of a stand-up meeting situation. And for the first time in a very, very long time, we've restricted visitor access to projects, and those vendors that are bringing material on site, we've asked them to stay inside their truck and not get out, and we unload those trucks for them. So just, you know, I think that's probably the biggest short-term impact we're seeing, just in terms of how we keep building, but trying to maintain a focus on the health of those that are working. You know, I think many people have talked about the various sectors of the industry, and I think from a commercial standpoint, you know, certain sectors have obviously been hit a lot harder than others. Although I think what I and probably other contractors are seeing here in Central Iowa is, you know, there's a lot of work that's currently underway, and I have heard very, very few projects have actually been put on hold or paused. That are up and running. So that's, I think, a really positive sign, is that those jobs are continuing to operate. I think the biggest question mark is what happens when those jobs are done. You know, I think probably the other biggest impact we are seeing on current projects is certain types of material or products being delayed in terms of when we might see those. And it really, there is really no consistent theme in that. It really depends on kind of what the status of each one of those projects are. You know, for projects that may be winding down, we're starting to see certain delays in delivery of office furniture and office products. So it really is a pretty wide example of things that we're seeing on projects, and no two projects are the same. Every project is experiencing a little bit different, but nonetheless, there's some consistency in terms of delays in material and product deliveries. I think from a longer term standpoint, I think, what I talked about earlier, just in terms of, how do we maintain a good, healthy job site? I think a lot of the things that we're currently doing will become the new norm going forward, and we'll have to figure out how to get a lot better at doing those sorts of things. I think many people have talked about the uncertainty in terms of kind of where things are going. I would echo that. I think just because of how hard certain sectors of the businesses, certain sectors of the industry have been impacted, I'm pretty well convinced that we will see somewhat of a slowdown in terms of the construction market. And I think it all comes down, in my opinion, to how long some of this stuff continues to play out. If we can get the economies open back up in a lot of the states in the next 30 days, I think the impact can be much shorter. But I think the longer that goes, I think the bigger impact we'll see. I think on the bright side, for those businesses and customers who have the wherewithal to invest in capital projects, much like we saw coming out of the recession, this could be a really, really good time to buy construction services. We're already starting to see pricing coming down on projects that we're pursuing right now, not only from the contractor's point of view, but from the specialty contractor's point of view, and certain products and equipment starting to see some relief on the cost of products and services. So again, I think for those who are willing to invest and have things that are on the books, this could be a really, really positive time. It could be a really great advantage to those people.